Welcome back. This could be the final video of this. I think I have like an hour left. Keep in mind, I was recently sick, still kind of recovering. So my throat's not the greatest, but I really want to just get this done. So I'm going to try to see as much as I can do. I think there's about an hour left. Gosh, it's so loud for me. Hopefully it's not too bad. What's wrong? Suzumu suddenly jolted up, surprising Hinagata. He had heard a voice. When he reached the realm of the gods, he heard a male voice in his dream. The gears are turning. Despair have now manifested in tandem. Make haste, Suzumu. Will another 1,000 years of suffering come to pass? Or will you bring about a miracle to crush that suffering? All will be decided in this hour, this last hour, hopefully. Whoa. Suzumu's eyes shone scarlet. The power of miracles now dwelled entirely in his fists. His body shouldn't have been able to bear it. The strain should have kept him in bed for many hours. However, he leapt to his feet with such agility, it was hard to imagine he'd only just woken up. Hinagata watched in shock as he ran to the desk and jumped right through the window out into the schoolyard. What? That's a little excessive. Suzumu's body was covered in open cuts all over, but he paid them no heed. He left his shoes behind, but he paid no heed. Wait, what? One thing was perfectly clear from his expression. He had only a sliver of time to carry out the miracle he'd been granted. Suzumu ran with every muscle in his body. Nothing could stop him, not even when his heart felt like it burst. Okay, we need to stop the shaking. It's making me a little sick. He ran across the schoolyard, across the asphalt. He'd long since torn his socks to pieces. His bare feet bled over the streets and stones. It hurt, but he couldn't let it bother him. Kurokami, I'll save you. So wait for me. Just hold on a little longer. I'll be right there. Kurokami, Toé. That was loud. I wonder if you can hear the music. Suzume slowly gazed up at the sky and took one last look at the picturesque scenery of the mountains. Once my body fully takes in this curse, how will this world change? How will this beautiful world look to these cursed eyes? I can tell this is the last time the wind will feel so pleasant, the air smells so fragrant, the sky gleams so blue. But if it means saving Mutsu and protecting the village he holds so dear, then I shall go through with this and say farewell to my final attachments to this life. Whoa. Suzumu entered the raised bell and sat down. She then closed her eyes and concentrated. Before long, her senses... Oh, maybe that was Suzume. I'm sorry. I read it wrong. Before long, her senses of sight and hearing were completely sealed away. Amidst that silent world, Suzume... Yeah, it was Suzume. Quickly gave in to her fate. Oh, this guy. Does she have to be naked? Alright, lower the bell. All the soot was sealed into the sacrifice, and 1,000 years of suffering began. Took the divine curse into her, it was subjected to a millennium of torment at the hands of its wrath. 1,000 years passed, and now the sacrifice would begin this cycle anew. Another millennium of torture for Suzume, Toé, would begin here and now. Mutsu didn't have the power of miracles. That was why he couldn't prevent that first millennium. That was why he had wished for a miracle and dedicated himself to God for 1,000 years. And then a miracle came to dwell in the fist Suzumu had inherited. Now he had the power. Now he could prevail. Suzumu ran like the wind. Run like the wind, Bullseye. Several of his toes had broken under that force. Ow. But he didn't feel pain. He didn't have the time to. I need your toes, though. All he perceived was the heat in his fist, his anxiety at the lack of time, and gratitude. Gratitude for the miracle that allowed him to run for her sake, once again after 1,000 years. By the time he passed through the shrine archway, Suzumu's feet were tattered. His pant cuffs were torn, and streams of blood trickled down his bared calves. His feet were bloody, leaving behind red-hot footprints in their wake. He was nauseous. Yeah, it was just like 1,000 years ago. Toé couldn't hear him because she already closed off her heart. But even if she didn't answer, Suzumu knew. You could see Suzumu, Nome, Toé, trying to seal herself in the bell at this very moment. I'll save you. Suzunome. Ah. Eyes. The soot piled up like snow in a pitch-black snowfield. A cursed bell enshrined in the center. The bell was not hanging. It was already standing firmly on the ground, the sacrifice sealed inside again.
Mutsu. Suzumu.
Mutsu. No, your name is Susan. Is it not?
また1000年前を繰り返したな。
Just like 1,000 years ago.
そなたの愛した女は再び盆床に封じられた。
The woman sealed herself into the bell again.
遅かったな。遅かったぞ、鈴原鈴。
You are late. You are late, Suzumu Suzuhara.
そなたは遅い。10年遅い。100年遅い。1000年遅い。
You are too late. 10 years too late. 100 years too late. 1,000 years too late.
そして今度はわずか1分遅かったな。
And now you are but 1 minute too late.
何も遅くなんかない。
No, I'm not late for anything.
ススの目は、トエはそこにいて、僕はここにある。
Suzunome, Toé is right there, and I'm right here too.
何も遅くなんかないんだ。それどころか、
I'm not late at all. In fact,
火は十分に熟したんだ。
my timing couldn't be any more perfect.
なるほど。妹たちを打ち破った拳はそれか。
I see. So that is the fist that bested my sisters. Suzumu's fist glowed with the divine scarlet light. In his past confrontations with the divine curse, his fist held no shine whatsoever. No, through his essence was fully formed. He had yet to reach the realm of the gods at the time. But things were different now. His fist shone at the very proof he'd stepped into the realm.
ムツ、そなたの1000年を我はどうやら見くびっていたらしい。
Mutsu, it would seem I made light of your 1,000 years.
この1000年間、人にどもへの復讐という一念を絶やさずにいられたのは我だけだと、そう思っていた。
I have been consumed with naught but my wish for revenge on the man-demons for this past millennium. But I believed you posed no threat.
だが、違ったようだ。
But it appears I was wrong.
僕も、僕たちも、
We.
いや、はっきりと言おう。
Oh, I'll be frank.
僕も1000年間、彼女を救う一年を一度たりとも絶やしたことはなかった。
For 1,000 years, I too have been consumed with nothing but a single wish to save her.
だからここにトエがいて、僕がいて、そしてお前がいる。
That's why Toei's here. I'm here, and you're.
憎いか我が。
Do you hate me?
憎しみなんかない。
No, not at all.
でも感謝もない。
But neither am I grateful to you.
ならば 我にどのような感情を向けるのか。
Oh ho, then what do you feel for me?
トエと同じくらいに僕はお前を憐れむ。
I pity you as much as Toé.
おごられたものよ。人鬼の分際で神の呪いを憐れむとはな。
Such arrogance. A man demon such as yourself pitying a divine curse.
だが千年ぶりの余興だ。聞こうぞ。我をなぜに憐れむのか。
Well, I could use some entertainment after a millennium. Tell me then, why you pity me.
この地で1000年前の村で何があったのか。僕は知った時思った。
When I learned what happened this land 1,000 years ago, a thought came to
人
me.
間たちに裏切られた神の鹿たちの無念を。
The sacred deer betrayed by humans must have felt such resentment. Their souls could never have rested in peace.
その無念が呪いとなっても何の不思議もない。
So it's no wonder the resentment became a curse. Yeah, agree.
でも僕はそれよりももっともっと無念があったと思う。
But I believe you have resentment far, far deeper than that.
邪法によってお前は生贄の体に封じられ1000年もの間何もすることができなかった。
The resentment that you were sealed into the sacrifice by that ritual and could do nothing for a millennium.
その間に村人たちは自分たちの罪も裏切りも神の誓いも恩も忘れ人生を全うし。
In that time, the villagers forgot their sin, betrayal, and debt to the sacred deer and went on to live out their days.
幾代も重ね裏切りの歴史さえも忘却し自分たちの過去を書き直した。
As the centuries passed, even the history surrounding that betrayal was gradually rewritten, further obfuscating the truth.
呪い元神社を祝い元神社と改名し六神彦の御の怒りを恐れるどころか何もかも忘れのんきに敬い出した。
Noroimoto Shrine was renamed Iwaimoto Shrine, and they even forgot to fear the wrath of Rokogami Iko no Mikoto, turning their respect into nothing more than oblivious reverence. Wrath was a fury brought down upon those who incurred it. But after 1,000 years, all the villagers who had betrayed the deer were long gone. Their anger for this land had not settled, but unreleasing a calamity on children who had forgotten their father's sins would hardly be a satisfying reward to centuries of wrath. That was why Suzumu couldn't bring himself to be angry at the curse. It wasn't just Mutsu and Suzunome, but the divine curse. These thousands of years had also been just as long, just as cruel, and just as sad. From Suzumu's position, the curse looked as though she was forcing a merry laugh, as though trying to shake off the pang of emotion that had swelled up within her.
だからなんだというのか、鈴む。
What of it, Suzumu?
この地には我が罰するにふさわしい人間がすでにいないから呪いを諦めて消え去れというのか。
Are you telling me to give up and disappear because the rightful targets of my fury are already gone?
虫のいい話だ。
No, that would be selfish.
何を言うかと思えば、それは我のセリフではないか。
Well, well, of all the things to say, you mirrored my thoughts exactly.
因果応報。罪には罰がなければならない。
It's the law of karma. Every sin must be met with punishment.
だからお前は存在していいんだ。
So naturally, you will exist.
お前には罪人を罰し呪う権利がある。それは誰にも邪魔できないし僕が邪魔させない。
Your desire to curse the sinners and punish them for their crimes is sound. No one can take that outright from you, and I would fight anyone who tried.
お前が何を言っているのか。我には分からぬ。
I fear I do not understand what point you were trying to make.
だが
However,
この1000年の犠牲者はトエだけじゃない。君もなんだ。
though I wasn't the only one who suffered this past millennium, you did as
だから
well.
僕の奇跡はトエを救うためだけでなく
That's why my miracle isn't just for saving
君
Toé.
を救う。
To To save you too.
僕はこの1000年をその梵鐘と共に打ち砕く。
I shall break that bell, and along with it the suffering of a 1,000-year cycle. Suzumu slowly closed his eyes and readied his fist. Oh, here we go. The Suzahara divine tribute style. The fist Mutsu had pledged to God and trained for 1,000 years. Now was the time to dedicate it. When Suzumu opened his eyes, a whirlwind rose from his feet, scattering the soot like black petals.
我にはそなたが何を言っているのかまるでわからぬ。
I cannot fathom what it is you are saying.
だが一つ確信したことがある。
However, one truth remains indubitable.
我は我なり、六神彦の御事の呪いなり。
I cannot deny my true nature. I am the curse of Rokugami Hiko no Mikoto.
千年を超えて降り積もりし我が怒り、我が呪い、我らが復讐。今こそそれが成就される時。
For 1,000 years that I have hated, cursed, and sworn vengeance, the time to take that revenge is now.
そなたに同情されようとされなかろうと、我は我なり、呪いなり。
Regardless how you may pity me, I shall forever remain a curse.
人にどもにこの地に災いを、その千年の誓い、翻すわけにはいかぬ。
For a millennium, I have sworn to bring a scourge to man-demons. To this land, I cannot turn back on my oath. Psha. When the divine curse swung her right arm down, another whirlwind erupted from her feet and blew the soot up. Hey! Oh, cool. She grasps the sword of the gods, the seven-branch sword in her hands, burning scarlet with heat. That's an Okami.
君の怒りは最もなんだ。
Wrath is just.
君には怒る権利も呪う権利も吠える権利もたける権利もある。
You have the right to be angry, to curse, to howl, to
でも
rage.
僕はそれを全て抱きしめて
I shall accept it all into myself.
今悲しき1000年の終わりと始まりがつながることを
At this moment, I shall take what connects the end and beginning of this millennium of tragedy
壊す。
and crush it before me. Suzumu vanished into the pitch black whirlwind. The divine curse stepped back just in time to dodge Suzumu's punch. That's a good face. I like that one. He was fast, too fast for the divine curse to keep track of. Now that he had reached the realm of the gods, Suzumu was a match for a god himself. He could easily match the curse's speed.
滅びよ、スズム、神の怒りを知れ。
Fall, Suzumu. Know the wrath of a god. Fighting. Divine Curse's sword left scarlet arcs in its wake with each swing. The blade that would curse one for 7 generations with a single touch howled, cleaving the falling soot. But something cut through those arcs, gave off fierce sparks, and repelled them. It dodged, avoided, struck, and returned the blows. Suzumu's scarlet fist repelled the sword slashes, attacks no mere man could have ever followed.
人にめ、神の刃を。
Wretched man demon, you dare to resist the sword of the gods?
君の怒りはそんなものなのか。
Is that as far as your anger will take you?
君には吐き出す権利がある。そして僕は呪われた村の末裔として受け止める義務がある。
You have the right to curse, and I, as a descendant of the cursed village, have the duty to receive it.
神の怒りがいかに深いか、神の呪いの恐ろしさを伝える義務がある。
I am obligated to feel the terror you rain down as me, as a member of that village, to know just how deep your wrath can run.
ざれ言。
Enough of your jests.
貴様に兄上様のご無念が分かってたまるか。
As if scum like you could possibly understand the chagrin of my dear brother's soul.
僕の拳は六神彦の御事に与えられしものだ。
My fist is granted to me by Rokugami Hiko no Mikoto.
何をよまいごと。
What? What nonsense do you speak?
陸奥は六神彦の御事の声を聞いた。そして1000年が始まった。
Mutsu heard the voice of Rokugami Hiko no Mikoto, and then his 1,000-year journey began.
これは君の運命なんだ。 僕がここにあることが
It is destiny that you and I should face each other this day. The shine of Suzumu's fist spoke volumes to his sincerity, but it held the same scarlet gleam as the divine curse's sword.
我らの一族の誰がお前に力を与えたというのか。
You claim that one of my clan granted you this power?
与えるわけがない。兄上様のご無念を知る我らが与えるわけがない。
They would never. None who knew our dear brother's pain would ever grant such power. Oh. No.
まさか。
It cannot be. Sorry. Panic.
兄上様。
Brother? Are you?
我らの怒りを今日までずっと
I've done well to bear our
千年もの間よくぞ耐え続けてくれた
for these past 1,000 years. This very day.
兄上様。
Brother.
神の呪いはあるべきところへ今こそ帰る時
It is time for the curse to return where it belongs.
帰ろう愛しい
Now, let us go home. My darling, dearest.
お前は。あなたは。
You truly are.
迎えに来たよ
I've come.
千年もの間僕のために
Thank you for
ありがとう
the past 1,000 years.
今こそ呪わしき千年の終わる時
Shall mark this curse. The seventh branch sword slowly fell from the hands of the divine curse. Her scarlet eyes brimmed with tears. Suzumu's fist left trails of light behind as he slowly lunged it forward. And a moment later, he struck the divine curse in the heart. The cursed bell that had marked the beginning of that accursed millennium it was attempting to usher in a new one was split in two. Suzumu's divine fist had just brought about a miracle, and then, like a newborn chick peeking out of its egg, Toé peered through the gap, too stunned to move. Overcome with surprise, she forgot to even blink. All she could do was stare up at Suzumu. Suzumu didn't move as though he'd been frozen in place, but his lips were curled in a smile.
助けに来たよトエ
I came to save you, Toé.
千年も遅くなって
Sorry.
ごめんね
I'm 1,000 years late. Toé had definitely heard those words. Her body became unbelievably light the moment the bell miraculously broke. As light as it once was before hauntings had begun in her adolescence. Not a single trace of the 1,000-year curse remained in Toei's body. But her rejoicing could wait. Something far more pressing stood before her. Suzumu slowly collapsed. He didn't shield himself with his arms to break the fall, the way the living would. Instead, he collapsed mechanically, like a puppet that fulfilled its role. The way the dead would fall. Oh shit, did I? Isahara? Suzahara. Toei dumbfoundedly approached Suzumu. There was no movement from him as she approached, not even the twitch of a finger. It was a cute boy. Suzahara. Suzahara. Suzumu. He lifted his head up, only for it to limply fall on its side. His chest burned with righteous heat, but he did not rise. Smiling, though. His arms and legs are sprawled out, hanging like wilted flowers.
進む進む待った待った10年待った100年待った1000年待った
I waited. I waited. I waited 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years.
ようやく再会できたのではないか
We're finally together again.
その再会をどうして私たちは喜び合えぬのか
Why? Why can't we celebrate together?
喜ぼうではないか私は喜んでいるぞ
Not overjoyed. I am.
ほら嬉し涙が止まらぬ止まらぬ
See, I can't stop these tears of joy, no matter how hard I try.
だからどうか進む
So please, Susumu,
お前もどうか
please,
どうか
please. I'm begging you,
笑って
show me your smile. It's right there. A divine miracle is too much for a human body. So, was this the price he paid for it? Suzumu must have known. Once he came to possess a god's power, he knew his end was close. Even so, he hadn't faltered. Instead, he felt he'd gotten a bargain on that miracle. He died to save the woman he loved for 1,000 years. Ah, what a bro. No man could ask for a greater death than that. And that was why Suzumu's face was frozen in a satisfied smile. His face beamed as he slept in Toei's arms, basking in her gentle warmth.
そんな男の身勝手で
You're such a selfish man,
手に一人先立って
leaving me behind without telling anyone.
後に残される女の気持ちが
Never once considering how I would feel without you. Toei could hold herself back no longer. Oh. Toei threw her head back to face the heavens as she held the lifeless body of the man she loved and wept.
黒髪と
Toé
え
Kurokami.
我の声が聞こえるか
My voice and my slow text.
我は六神彦の御子となり我の声が聞こえるか
I am Rokugami Hiko no Mikoto. Can you hear me?
聞こえるあんたが殺したあんたがスズムを殺したんだ
Yes, you killed him. You killed
あるい
Suzumu.
は耐えられるかもしれないと思ったのだ
I thought perhaps you could bear it.
すすはら
Obviously
すずむ
no.
ならば奇跡の代償に耐えうると我も信じたかけたのだ
Knowing Suzumu saw Suzahara, I dared hope he would withstand the price of the
だ
miracle.
が奇跡は二つは重ならなかった
Unfortunately, that did not come to pass.
呪いを破ってそなたを救い鈴むもまた奇跡の代償に耐える
I had prayed for 2 miracles, you see.
その二つの奇跡を祈ったのだ
That he would break the curse and save you, and that he would survive the price of the miracle.
こんな奇跡なんて残酷
A miracle like this is just too cruel.
こんな奇跡ならいらない私いらない
I never wanted a miracle like this. I can't accept it. Well, too bad. No, I don't know.
滅ぼしにもならぬだろうが
This may not make up for your sorrow.
そなたの願いを一つ我が力にて叶えたい。
But I would like to grant you one wish with my power.
望みはあるか。
Do you have one?
生き返らせて。スズムを今すぐ生き返らせて。
Bring him back to me. Bring Suzumu back to life right now. Bitch, I can't do that. No.
死は覆せぬ。
Oh shit, he's right. Okay. Death cannot be reversed.
生が尊くあるがゆえに死の神聖を犯すことは我であってもかなわぬのだ。
As life is precious, not even I can venture into the sacred realm of death.
仮の命を吹き込むことはできるが限られた短い時間となる。
I could breathe temporary life into him. That's a short time.
そんなの生き返ったって言わない。
And why even bother?
生き返らせて。スズムを生き返らせて。お願い。
Bring him back to me. Bring Suzumu back to life, please.
また千年私が呪われてもいいから。私をどれだけ苦しめてもいいから。だから。
I don't care if I have to be cursed for another 1,000 years. I'll accept any suffering that comes. So please, what is the point of this then? What was the point of all of it?
スズムを生き返らせて。
Bring him back. Rokugami Hiko no Mikoto was merciful. No matter how deeply Toei succumbed to sorrow, it continued to wait quietly and patiently. Eventually, Toei wiped away her tears.
役立たず。
You're useless.
うちの神社は役に立たない神様を祀ってるわ。
I can't believe my shrine worships such a useless god. Jeez. Her eyes were red. They'd regained a bit of their shine.
私は今、進むのためなら、私が死んでもいいって思ったわ。
Just now, I thought that I would have gladly died for Suzumu.
そういうことなのね。
That's how it is, isn't it?
進むに感謝して、私一人で生きろと、そういうことなのね。
You're saying I should be grateful to Suzumu and live on by myself. That's how it is, isn't it? Yes.
ありがとう、進む。
Thank you, Suzumu.
あなたはいつも遅い。10年遅い。100年遅い。1000年遅い。
Always late. 10 years too late, 100 years too late, 1,000 years too late.
今回はちゃんと間に合ったよ。
This time, you actually made it. Toei smiled as tears framed her face and stroked Suzumu's cheek. It was still a little warm.
録画美彦の御事様。私の願いは一つ。
Rokugami Hiko no Mikoto, I have a wish.
聞こ
Name it.
こんな悲しい目に遭うのは私だけでたくさん。
I want to be the only one who suffers the sorrow.
だから私はもう一組の私たちに奇跡を託すわ。
So please grant a miracle to our other selves.
鈴の目とムツに奇跡を。
Give Suzunome and Mutsu a miracle.
ムツが儀式に間に合い鈴の目を救い出す。そして二人は結ばれるという奇跡。
A miracle where Mutsu made to the ritual on time, saved Suzunome, and got to live out his days with her.
それを叶えても今いるこの時代この世界には何の変化も生じぬが良いか。
You should know that even if I grant that wish, it will bring no changes to this era, to this world.
別に構わないわ。
That's fine with me.
言ったでしょ。こんな目に遭うのは黒髪トエと鈴原鈴むだけでたくさんだって。
I thought I made myself clear. Only Toé Kurokami and Suzumu Suzahara should suffer this pain.
ムツが助けに間に合い 鈴の目は邪法の儀式から救われる。
Have Mutsu make it in time to save Suzanome from the ritual.
呪いは村に降りかかり、滅ぶかどうかは知ったことじゃない。
It's not my business if the curse rains on the village and destroys it or not.
でも呪いもまた彼らのものよ。
But the curse is theirs.
罪に対して罰が正しく下されるだけのこと。
The punishment will merely be brought down on those who sinned.
罰を先送りにする邪法など邪悪でしかない。
A ritual that delays the punishment is purely evil, nothing
覇者
else.
検証。邪悪を破りて正しきを示す。
Haja... Haja... Oh my god, I can't say it. Haja Kensho. Crush evil and demonstrate the righteous
あ
path.
んたならできるでしょ。
You can do that, can't you?
わかった。トエよ。
Well,
そなたの
Toé.
願いを叶えよ
I shall grant your
う。
wish.
ムツは鈴の目を救い出す。そして村には再び呪いのすすが降り積もる。
Mutsu will save Suzanome, and then the curse soot will blanket the village once
そ
more.
れからどうなるかは、我もそなたも預かり知ることではない。
Neither you nor I know what shall come after that.
それで良いな。
Is that all right with you?
はい。
Yes.
私の想像の中でだけでも二人が幸せになれるなら。
So as long as it can make those two happy, even if I'll only know it in my heart.
さらばだ。黒髪とえ。そして
Farewell.
すす
Kurokami
から沈む。
And Suzahu. Suzamu, Suzahara.
そなたのこれからの千年が祝福されることを心より願って。
I pray from the bottom of my heart that your next millennium be a blessed one.
当たり前でしょ。うちはあんたを1000年も祀ってるのよ。
Of course it will be. We've worshipped you for 1,000 years.
少しはご利益
The least you can do
見せなさいよ。
is grant us some of your grace, right? Toé could no longer hear the voice. The main hall was silent as a tomb, but a miracle 1,000 years in the making had most certainly occurred here. The proof of that was the broken bell and Suzumu's lifeless body lying in Toei's arms. So what about the other girls? Are they going to be sad? I'm sure they will. Oh, for a while, none of the villagers could move as though time had stopped. The villagers, the mayor, Suzanome, and even Mutsu himself were all astonished. No one believed that a human body, a human fist, could have the power to break a temple bell. And all of them had seen it. The scarlet heavenly glow from Mutsu when he punched the bell. That was awesome! That was the wrath of a god! Eek! The villagers prostrated themselves before Mutsu one after another, as though he were a god himself. Indeed, they could all feel a divine presence residing in Mutsu. Mutsu also came to understand. A divine will had endowed itself in his fist. Mutsu?
助けに来たよ。鈴の目。
I'm to save you, Susanoo.
遅くなってごめん。
Sorry I'm late. Though Suzanome was bare naked, she didn't care. She ran to Mutsu's arms. Mutsu embraced her dearly so they could never be apart again. Whoa. The soot surfaced from Suzanome's marble skin like oozing ink. All the cursed soot she absorbed in her body escaped and scattered into the air. The ritual had been destroyed, so the soot was expelled from the sacrifice's body. There wasn't a single patch left on her. Her body was back to its beautiful, pristine self. And though there was no clouds, soot fell from the sky like snow. Though it was the cursed soot, the sun's light gave it a divine, even beautiful aura. Little feathers. The soot rained on the village once more. The curse had returned to its proper place. Punishment had been delivered to those who broke their promise with the sacred deer. The villagers were devastated to realize their village was cursed again. Mutsu spoke to lift their spirits.
何が起こるかわからないけれど、
I know not what comes next.
またみんなで頑張ればいいよ。
Oh, we just have to work together like we always have.
仕方がないよ。これはお山の六神様を裏切った僕たちへの罰なんだから。
We don't have a choice. This is our punishment for betraying Lord Rokugami.
だから甘んじて受け入れよう。
So we should all accept our lot
そしてみんなで許しを請おう。
and beg for forgiveness.
六神様はわしらを許してくれるかな。
Lord Rokugami, forgive us.
いつかはわからないけれど、
It may not be soon.
僕たちがちゃんと申し訳ない気持ちを持って罰を受け、試練に耐え、
But if we accept our punishment with genuine penitence, endure the trials to come,
それでも敬いの気持ちを忘れなかったなら、きっと
never forget to honor Lord Rokugami despite it all.
六神様だって許してくれると思う。
I'm sure we'll be forgiven.
ね、鈴の目。
Don't you agree, Suzanome?
Yes。六神様は私たちが敬いの心を忘れなかったなら必ずいつの日にか許してくださるで
If
しょう。
Lord Rokugami sees we have not forgotten to honor him, then I believe all shall be forgiven someday.
タト、みんな、
On your feet, all of you.
そして村に帰り、みんなに伝えよう。
Let us return to the village and speak
僕
this.
たちは罰を受ける。そして神様への敬いを忘れずに持ち続け、いつの日にか必ず許しをもらおうって。
We shall accept our punishment and continue to pay God our respects. Then someday we shall be forgiven.
ムツの言う通りじゃ。
Yes, Mutsu is right.
これはすべて欲の皮を突っ張らせたわしらへの罰じゃ。
This is our punishment for letting our greed blind us.
悔い改めていつの日にか許しを得るんじゃ。
Let us repent and earn our forgiveness someday.
わしらの村は六神様のお山と共にあるのだからな。
Our village exists alongside the mountain of Lord Rokugami.
The villagers stood. The fiendish visages they'd worn as they tried to scapegoat Susanome to the soot had all vanished without trace. Instead, their expressions were all composed, as though they'd been released from possession. And then each and every one of them apologized to Susanome for what they'd put her through.
帰ろう。みんな、村へ。
Let's return to the village.
六神様と共に生きていきましょう。
Let us live alongside Lord Rokugami.
そうとも。僕たち人間は神様と一緒にこの地に共存しているのだから。
She's right. Us humans shall coexist with Lord Rokugami on this land. The two nodded at each other. Everyone then headed back towards the village. All that remained was the broken temple bell. It served as proof of the miracle that occurred here, and of the miracle their descendants from 1,000 years into the future had wished for. I wonder if there will be any changes. And so the village's days of punishment under divine curse began. The soil lost its divine blessings, the fields fell into ruin, and troubles with dry field crops increased. The harvest also yielded little for the effort that had gone into it, and the results were not good by any standard. But the villagers split the scant harvest and managed to overcome a hungry winter. The animals of the mountain became violent, making hunting a dangerous task. Monsters would appear and threaten the village from time to time. But the villagers stood tall together. They accepted their lot not as a curse but as their punishment. And even though their lives grew harder, they continued cherishing their god. They offered up some of their meager harvest and continued to appease Rokugami Hiko no Mikoto. Suzanome was revered as the village's priestess. The villagers obediently followed her teachings and renewed their respect for the divine. The children lost their smiles amidst their poor lives, but Mutsu's never faded. Eventually, thanks to his influence, they regained their smiles one after another. The children regained their vitality, and in time, the whole village found the laughter they had once lost. Years passed as the curse continued, 1, 2, and in time 5. The villagers had completely adapted to their environment by this point. They revered the monsters as messengers of the divine, gave offering to the forest and mountain. In time, the monsters stopped attacking the village. Gradually, the hills and fields regained the blessings of the land. Thanks to the villagers working together to create an irrigation system, the crop fields also recovered their bounty. The village was far poorer than it had been before. However, it was richer than ever in smiles.
Max Deluxe Meteor Buster! Acha!
それは読んでいた。鈴の目、今日こそお前は星になる。
Read you like a book. You shall be one with the stars today, Susanome.
メガトンカウンターホームラン。
That. Wham, wham.
はいムツはピッチャです
And Mutsu gets the Bicha.
違うね、セ
Oh
ズが
god,
ビ
more
ッチャだ
Bicha.
ね。
No, you had the Bicha.
そっちがピッチャですピッチャピッチャ
You're the one with the Bicha, Bicha, Bicha.
ビッチャビッチャビッチャッチャ
ムツがピッチャムツがピッチャ違うよ鈴の目がピッチャだよピッチャピッチャ
Bicha, Bicha.
あの二人は相変わらずだの
Those two are at it again, huh?
Hehe.
The sixth winter was harsh, but the children were as resolute as ever. They had hearty snowball fights with the gray snow dirtied by the soot. The adults grinned at the sight and thanked the gods who had preserved their children's smiles. Their reserves were scarce as always, but everyone worked together, like family, and managed to make it to spring. The 7th year turned out to be the turning point, where the villagers built an elegant altar at the abandoned temple and worshipped Rokugami no Hiko no Mikoto there. In the past, they had constantly prayed to the dear god to forgive them, but this year was a bit different. They were grateful that amidst their trials, the villagers had supported one another and renewed their reverence for God. They didn't wish for the curse to end this year. Instead, they thanked it. And then the 7th winter ended, and the curse of 7 years came to a close. The people noticed the hills and the fields had regained their former glory. Internally, gray sky cleared up as though it had never been there, and the long-forgotten scent of fresh verdure rode the wind once more.
ミコ様このひょっとして六神様が
Lord, the Lady Priestess. Does this mean Lord Rokugami has...
はい六神様のお声が聞こえます
Yes, I can hear Lord Rokugami's voice.
これで村を覆う呪いは終わりです
With this, the curse that covered the village has ended.
敬いと感謝を忘れず清らかに生きることを誓うならば神は怒りを収めると仰せです
God says that if we keep reverence and gratitude forever in our hearts and swear to live virtuous lives, heaven's wrath shall be quelled.
The villagers shouted with joy. Sensing Rokugami no Mikoto on the other side of the beautiful sunlight shining between the clouds, they all offered it thanks and reverence.
口寄せだっけ。すごいね。神様の声が聞けるなんて。
Channeling, was it? I never knew you could hear the gods' voices with it. That's incredible.
口寄せではありませんし神の声も聞こえてはおりませぬ
No, that wasn't channeling. I can't hear any voices.
じゃあ、どうして呪いが終わったってわかるんだい？
How do you know the curse has ended?
それはここに知らせがあるのです
Well, you see, there's something I have to tell you.
With a faint blush, Susanome took Mutsu's hand and placed it atop her stomach. Oh gosh, she's pregnant. Mutsu was wide-eyed in shock for a moment, but soon understood and jumped with joy. He picked Susanome up and spun her around. Don't do that. The women of the village understood what that signified, and everyone celebrated. And then on the day the first flowers after the curse bloomed, Mutsu and Susanome were married. It is said those two were blessed with several children. They thanked the god who had granted them such wonderful days and gave them all names modeled off the seasons. Their children valued that deeply, and so the tradition was passed down through each generation. Eventually, the people built a magnificent shrine to worship Rokugami Hiko no Mikoto and named it Noroi Moto Shrine, so that the future generations would never forget the trial of the divine curse they had faced without any lies. And as proof of their god's miracle, they enshrined the broken bell as a shrine Shintai. On the day it was completed, Mutsu and Suzanome heard a voice from above. Oh,
我
God.
こそは六神彦の命の呪いなり。
I am the curse of Rokugami Hiko no Mikoto.
よくぞ我らの呪いを受けながらも神を敬う気持ちを失わずに我らを慰め祭り続けた。
You have done well to worship and appease us. You revered us in spite of our curse.
兄上さん、ご本六神彦の命は村人たちを正しく導いたそなたらに特別な褒美を与えよと仰せになられた。
My dearest brother, Rokugami Hiko no Mikoto, has commanded you to be granted a special reward for guiding the villagers down the right path.
褒美など恐れ多くございます。
A reward? You're beyond honored.
望め、好きな望みを叶えてやろうぞ。
Speak, we shall grant you whatever you may desire.
あー、できれば手早く決めてもらえると助かる。我も役目を果たさぬうちは帰れぬのでな。
But, it would be truly a boon were you to make it quick. I cannot go home until I fulfill my duty. See. Make it quick.
どうしましょう、ムツ。
What should we do, Musu?
私たちはもう十分な幸せを手に入れていると思います。
I think we've already obtained plentiful happiness.
これ以上の何かを望んでしまうのはおこがましい気がして。
I think it would be presumptuous to ask for any more.
一つあるんだ。
There is one thing.
なんでしょう。
What is it?
君を救うために盆栽を割ったあの日のあの奇跡。
Remember when I broke the bell to save you? That was a miracle.
もちろん天の奇跡であることには間違いないんだけど、
It was a miracle of heaven. There's no doubt about that.
誰かが、
However, someone
それも君にとてもよく似た誰かが
who resembles you,
僕にその奇跡を祈ってくれたから奇跡が起きた。ずっと
was the one
そんな気がしてたんだ。
was the one who prayed for me to be bestowed with that miracle. I've always felt as such. How did you
その
know?
ようなことが。
Truly?
ではその祈ってくれた方は私の恩人なのですね。
And that would make them my savior, would it not?
僕はその人に感謝したい。
I'd like to thank her.
なれば願いはいかんに。
Then what would you wish?
その人に笑顔を、
Let her smile.
どれほどの悲しみの中にあっても笑顔を取り戻すことができる。そんな奇跡をその人に。
Bring her a miracle that'll bring back her smile, no matter how much sorrow she's had to
ふ
bear.
む、その願いしかと聞き届けたぞ。
Your wish shall be granted. Of this I am certain.
さらばだ、陸奥、鈴の目。
Farewell, Mutsu, Suzanmune.
そなたらの
どうめ
7年間は見下げ果てた人間どもを再び信じてもよいと思うに足る素晴らしいものであったぞ。
Your 7 years were wonderful, wonderful enough to restore our faith in those despicable humans. Divine curse quietly returned to the heavens. They didn't know who the girl who resembled Suzanome they'd wish for the miracle was, but
幸せになってくれるといいですね。
I hope she can find happiness.
yeah. Will she? Maybe. Oh, I just realized. I'm floating a bit. Here we go. Whoa. Okay. The girls were left in deep sorrow by Suzahara's untimely death. Okay. We all grieved for him, unable to repay him for setting them free from the curse they reside in their hearts. His body was sent to his family, and his funeral soon followed. Can I like it pop up? Oh, I'm just kidding, I'm alive. Everyone in the LCSC attended. Suzumu's mother was shocked by her son's mysterious death, but his father was oddly calm. That was because he received a revelation in a dream. It told him how Suzumu had accomplished something very important. How he brought about a miracle to save someone dear, knowing the cost. How he lost his life in exchange, and how this is what he wanted. Mr. Suzahara was sure the dream was real. As the president of the LCSC, can I read the eulogy? She spoke of how Suzumu was most likely a boy of his age and was respected and loved by all. She concluded the speech by speaking for all of them by saying she wished she could have had more time with him. Kanaya went over to the casket and told Suzumu how she was doing, how she'd gained the strength to carve her own path in life after he'd saved her. Aw. She'd be leaving home and setting out on her own in the near future, but for far more positive reasons this time.
Princess Alice of Wonderland will finally be going on her big adventure,
she said through choked sobs. Tsubahiko cried her heart out at first, but eventually she could no longer hold herself back and clung to Suzumu's body, shouting in a manner undistinguishable from sobbing. She was the one who embodied everyone's anger at his sudden and unfair death.
In my heart, I will always be your wife,
she said, and gave Suzumu one last kiss. Ryuria raced the funeral during a gap in her busy schedule. She didn't break down, probably because mature women were strong against this sort of thing. But she knew the truth. She was only acting tough and putting off her sorrow for a short while. She was prepared to spend many nights from this day onward, weeping for him. Natsuo was less sad, more in denial of his best friend's death. Suzumu really would be dead if he believed it, so he made it all the way to this point, still not accepting the truth. But once he saw Suzumu in the casket, his weak resolve shattered into pieces. With the tears streaming from his eyes, he placed his prized, one-of-a-kind, super rare card in the casket with his friend. And next was Toé. On the outside, she looked like the calmest of them all. Her face appeared to be as motionless as it was at school. Now that she'd been freed from the curse, she shouldn't have needed a doll anymore. She still carried one with her all the time. Because unless she kept holding tight onto it, her emotions might burst out. Hinagata gently placed her hand on Toei's shoulder. It's okay, you can let it all out at a time like these. But Toei just shook her head. She refused to cry. After all, Suzumu had brought about that miracle because he didn't want her to cry ever again. That was why she had to send him off with a smile. And yet, there was something wrong with her. Why were her eyes burning? She swore she would never cry. Suzumu had spent 1,000 years to set her free. She had to smile just as long. Toei gave Suzumu's body the best smile she could muster. It was strained and hardly what most people would call genuine, but it was a smile nonetheless. Teardrops made rivers down her cheeks, and yet she smiled.
そうだ。進。みんなに聞いたぞ。
All right, Suzumu, I heard from the
みん
others.
な、お前とキスをしたというのに、
They said they all kissed you.
私だけ
It's in every thumbnail.
してない。
But I'm the only one who still hasn't.
死んじゃった進とキスしても、そんなのキスに入らないぞ。
Even though it's too late now, when you're no longer here.
Toei mustered her courage and gave Suzumu her first kiss. The kiss she kept from Sho Kaminuma, no matter how much he prodded her. Finally, Hinagata came over and leaned into the casket. Almost like she was having one final chat in secret with Suzumu. Brother, are you all right with this? The 1,000-year curse had ended, but is this really how it should be? I know how you feel, brother, but still. If you understand, please grant me one more request. Please use your power just this once to bring about a miracle. Please, just this once. Brother? Hinagata rose with bitterness swelling in her heart. The curse had already been broken. Rokugami no Mikoto had returned to the heavens. No one would answer her. The soot within her would likely vanish sooner or later. After the soldiers were chanted, the funeral presenter told everyone to see Suzumu off one last time. They all gathered at the altar and put flowers in the casket. Suzumu's portrait up above was smiling. But his body looked like he was sleeping, his mouth agape like an innocent child. The girls couldn't hold back their tears at the contrast between the two Suzumus. And finally, the time came to close the casket. Once the lid was shut, Suzumu's face would be lost to them forever. In that last moment, Toei finally broke down. She ran over the casket and raised her voice for the first time, sobbing.
10年遅い。100年遅い。1000年遅い。
You're 10 years too late, 100 years too late, 1,000 years too late.
次は何年だ。何年遅くなる。
How long will it be this time? How many years are going to be late?
1000年でもいいから。ずっと待ってるから。
I don't care if it's 1,000, I'll always be waiting for you.
だから絶対にまた帰ってくると約束してくれ。
So promise you'll come back to me.
進む。
じゃあ 今帰るよ。
Oh no, my god. Okay, that'll come back now, Toei. Toei jolted upright. She swore she heard Suzumu's voice.
進む離せ。私の気が触れたんじゃない。聞こえた。確かに聞こえたんだ。
Let me go. I'm not crazy. I heard him. I heard his voice.
鈴の声がした。鈴は生きてる。生きてるんだ。
He spoke. Suzumu's alive. He's alive. The mourners all gaped in shock as the flowers spilled out of the casket. No way.
鈴生きてる。生きてるよ。
You're alive? You're really alive?
何をぼさっとしてるんですか。先輩生きてるんですよ。早く棺から出してあげて。
Snap out of it, all of you. Suzaharu's alive. We need to get him out of that casket.
みんなここは
Yes, where are we?
葬儀場よ。あなたのね。
At a funeral. Yours.
え、
あ
誰の
Whose?
それよりすっごくお腹が空いたんだ。
Anyway, I'm starving. What the fuck?
トエ、
進む。いつの間に私のことを慣れ慣れしく名前で呼ぶようになったんだ。
Suzumu, why? When did you start calling me by my first
君
name?
こそ僕のことを名前で呼んでるよ。
You're doing the same, you know.
いいんだ。私たちは互いを名前で呼び合おうと決め合った。1000年も前に。
It's fine. After all, we were the ones who decided to call each other by name 1,000 years ago.
はいはい、お葬式中止です。誰かお医者様を早く。
All right, the funeral's off. Someone call a doctor, quickly.
お腹空いてるって。お供えの落があるけど食べる？
He said he's starving. We have the offerings for the funeral, but are we allowed to eat those? I'm the only Zoe.
私が食べる。だってもうお葬式意味ないし。
Of course we are. I'll eat them myself, because there's no point to this funeral now.
食ってやる。こんなもんみんな食ってやる。
I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna eat every last bite. I'll slaughter this food, damn it.
さすがはグレートススハラだぜ。デッキの最後に死者蘇生を仕込んでやがったな。
That's the great Suzaharu for you. You slipped in a monster reborn at the spawn of your deck, didn't you?
このカード僕が欲しかったやつくれるの？
Oh, hey, it's the card I always wanted. You're giving it to me?
おっと残念だな。こいつはモンスターがフィールドに戻るとき手札に戻るんだ。
Sorry, but it's too bad. This baby returns the hand when a monster returns to the field. The aftermath was a total mess. The whole room was just a jumble of shock and joy at this unprecedented occurrence. No one had ever heard of the subject of his own funeral stuffing his cheeks with a sushi offered to his casket. Suzumi's parents laughed and cried when they got the call from the crematorium asking why the hearse hasn't arrived yet. It really was a total mess. But it didn't matter, not after a miracle like this. Afterwards, the doctor gave Suzumu a checkup, and with the exception of some minor arm trophy, he passed with a clean bill of health. They kept him hospitalized for a few days to be safe, but by the next week, Suzumu had returned to his day-to-day life. What the heck?
来たよ。それ。
He's here now! Once Suzumu entered the club room, the members of the LCSC set off their party poppers all at once. Suzumu was literally bathed in colors from all the confetti. Soft drinks and tea saw on the table with the words, "Welcome back from the dead," written on the blackboard.
墓場帰り。また墓場に行ったら血祭りだからね。
Sure is good to have you back to life. You better not do that again, or I'm gonna slaughter you myself.
こっちも大切な人がお葬式で蘇生しましたってツイッターにつぶやいたらお祭り騒ぎですよ。
My Twitter was in an uproar when I tweeted about how someone close to me woke up at their own funeral.
大切な人って誰のことだろうって。もう論点ずれてますよね。
There was all those threads speculating who this someone close to me could be. It was so stupid.
おい らもいろんな摩訶不思議を経験してきたけど、こういうのは初めてだったね。
I've been through some pretty fantastical stuff on my own, but this one takes the cake.
おかえり、進む。
Welcome back, Suzumu.
ただいま、トエ。
I'm back, Toé.
それでね、
With all that said,
今日は鈴原先輩と黒髪先輩にお聞きしたいことが山ほどございまして。
We have a lot of questions for you at Kurokami, Suzuhara.
huh?
クロッチとスズムン、先日以来どうしてチミたちは名前で呼び合う関係になったのかね。
Kuroki, Suzumoon, you guys have been calling each other by your first name since that day. Since when have you been that close, huh?
スズム、私以外にそう呼んでいい人がどうしてもう一人いるわけ？
Suzumu, why is there someone other than me allowed to call you by name?
むしろならば私たちにもその呼び方を解禁するべきだと思いません？
In fact, I believe that means we should be allowed to call you by name too.
スズムン、ことと次第によっちゃ今日この場でまた墓場送りだからね。
You'd better like what we hear, or we'll send you packing straight back to the graveyard, if you catch my drift.
いつからあんたたちはそういう関係なの？
How long have you two been in that kind of relationship?
キキ。
Iki.
クロッチ、ごまかさない？
Kuroki, you can't mumble your way out of this one.
いつからなんですか、先輩？
Answer the question, Suzuhara.
1000年前かな。
Since 1,000 years ago, I guess?
Eh?
There's a cry of shock followed by a moose uproar.
やれやれ。つくづくモテるグレートな男だぜ。
Oh man, great men are so
あ
popular.
なただってグレートよ。鈴原くんのグレートブラザー。
You're pretty great yourself. You're Suzuhara's great brother.
あなたがここにあることが、それもまた奇跡の証なのだから。
Since the fact you're here is another proof of the miracle.
奇跡の証？それウルトラレアカードの奇跡の証っすか？先生もやってたんですか、ゲーム？
Proof of the miracle? You mean the ultra rare card proof of the miracle? You play too, Miss Hayagata?
何の話？先生よくわかんないわ。
Huh? What? I have no idea what you're talking about. Rather, even this miracle was part of fate's design from the start, wasn't it? For there to be something even us, the fragments of the gods, were not aware of. Fate is quite the capricious? Hinagata's hair alone shone in the sunlight as she gulped down a non-alcoholic beer. Of course, it's non-alcoholic. It almost looked like the antlers of the sacred deer would be seen in that radiance.
これでよろしゅうございます。
All is as should be, right, brother?
我ら
I am Rokugami Hiko no Mikoto's curse.
呪いに残酷にてそう。
And curses are cruel. Wait, she's the curse? Wait. Ah. And that's it. We did it. So there is a extra episode of, I think it's like a swim one. And then there's one with the teacher. But I've been at this for so long at this point. I'm not really, I'm probably not going to do it. So what do I think of this? I don't think it's as good as his other works. I would say, well, I've watched a bit of, I know Higurashi. Umineko? I've watched someone play a bit of it. I think that one's really good. I don't... This game stacks up to Higurashi or Umineko. Let's see if he's done anything. I know he was involved with the recent Silent Hill F. It was pretty good. I liked it. Let's see if there's anything else that I can skip. I don't know if I have anything else to really... Oh, he won't let me. Was it? I mean, it was solid though. I would give it a 7 out of 10. I thought the story was pretty good. What girl do you think he should have ended up with? Was probably Toé. Toé in general. Now, supposedly, if you're interested, the teacher new story is pretty good. They say it's better than this. That tells you something. Do you think... I think it would have probably made more impact if he actually passed away. I think he went for the super happy ending. I don't know how Higurashi visual novel completely ends. I have read all the manga. And I do know it kind of has a happier ending. So, and I don't know how Umineko ends. So maybe they do end up happy. I'm not sure, though. Also, I don't know if there's like another version of this. This is the Steam version. So it could like be a little more like wild. I'm not 100% with that. Oh, wait, there's more. Hey, Toé, get over here when I call for you. You're keeping me waiting.
そうさ、さすがに30秒で恋は無理じゃないですか?
So, ain't it kind of unreasonable to expect her to get here in 30 seconds?
それでも来て、俺にお仕置きされんのがこいつの仕事なんだよ。
I don't change nothing. Taking crap from me is her job.
それひでっす。
Damn, that's harsh.
ほら、とっととこっち来いや。
Come on, haul your ass over here. Oh.
あ?
Eh? Normally, Toé obeyed him without a word. But this time, she was staring at Sho with the doll in her hands.
たく、またわけわかんねえことを口走り出しやがった。
Fucking hell. Again with this bullcrap?
嫌い。
To hell.
は?
Eh?
お前、嫌い。
I'm saying I hate you. The delinquents were stunned to see Toé glare at Sho and say that right to his face. It was less what she said, more that she'd spoken of her own volition that shocked Sho.
私はもう、お前の言い名付けはやめる。
Engagement is off.
もう、お前に、絡ませてもらう必要がないから。
I don't need you to get me pregnant anymore, so... No one could say a word. Toei's voice and glare were fierce and full of bite. They couldn't believe that this was the same girl who'd acted like a soulless doll up until now. This is awesome. This is- I have all the things to say. Are you supposed to be head over heels for me? You shouldn't say shit you don't mean.
お前のことなんか最初から少しも好きじゃない。
I never liked you at all.
嘘つけ。お前が俺に一目惚れだから言い名付けにって話だったろ。
Bullshit. Didn't you propose to me because you fell for me at first sight?
あれは父上が適当なことを言っただけ。
That was just a story my father made up on the spot.
適当？おいおいおいおい、そんなことでいいのかよ。
Made up? Whoa, 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 whoa. You gotta be fuck kidding me.
Joe was stumbling over his words so much that even his buddies were embarrassed.
俺たち将来を誓い合った仲だろ。
We swore we were gonna spend the rest of our lives together, didn't we?
誓ったことないし。
No, we didn't.
めっちゃラブラブだったじゃん。
We're like the loveliest, dubbiest couple there ever was, aren't we?
いつそうだったか聞きたい。
That's news to me.
だってお前だってノリノリで俺の鬼畜不良プレイに付き合ってくれてたじゃん。
But wait, didn't we have that whole SMM thing going for us? Weren't you totally into it?
意味わかんない。
I don't even know what that means.
飽きちゃった。もうそういうのやだ。なら言ってくれればいいのに。
So you got tired of it then? You're done with the whole thing? You should have told me.
今流行りの壁ドンやっちゃうし、お姫様抱っこもやっちゃう。
You want to do that on wall pounding? That's rage these days. You want to be carried princess style?
それとも下克上しちゃう？今度はトエが女王様で俺が下僕で。そういうのもいいな。
Or maybe that coup d'etat thing? You could be the queen and I'll be the evil vizier. Yeah, you'd like that, right? Right?
Oh, God. The immense show had cultivated was plummeting down as though his stock had crashed as low as possible. He begged Toei to take him back, but she was having none of it.
あと、二度とトエって呼び捨てにしないで。
One more thing. Don't call me Toei ever again.
じゃあね。さようなら。
That's all. Goodbye.
Oh, yeah.
待ってよ、トエ！トエ様！
Wait, no! Toei! Lady Toei.
Haha, 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 haha.
Don't abandon me!
Sho was left literally kicking and screaming on the ground, but Toei was already gone. And so, on that day before summer break, the Lingua group that used the bike lot as fortress dissolved. Pathetic. And that was IWAIHIME. Hime. Yep. Celebration Princess. No.
意外にあっさり別れられたのね。
No. We're stopping here. We're stopping here. Maybe I'll do it one day. I don't know. Stopping though. We're gonna make it. Down here. There we go. All right. Thank you for watching my very long playthrough of IWAIHIME. Thank you.